Hello, I'm Catherine Egan, Teagasc Beef Specialist, and I'm joined this evening at the Teagasc National Beef Conference in Ballinasloe with Rupert Claxton, Meat and Livestock Executive with Gira. Rupert, you're very welcome this evening. It's great to have you here. You're very welcome to Ireland. A very insightful presentation. What do you think is the outlook for beef exports, considering global beef exports from Ireland are so important?
Well, firstly, it's been really nice to be here and at a challenging time, and no doubt coming off the last couple of years. Costs have gone up. Everyone everywhere in the world is experiencing much higher costs in their production systems. So to come and talk about where are we going in the outlook for beef, I mean, most of the Irish beef exports go into either the EU market or the UK, but there is clear demand developing in Southeast Asia and then China and obviously the traditional markets of Japan and Korea. So whilst Ireland clearly has to have an eye on what the traditional strongholds in Europe are doing, there is the opportunity to develop into those markets elsewhere. Challenging time for the American producers at the moment. Beef prices in the US are very high, but on the other hand, we've got the Australian prices have come right back down. The Brazilian beef cycle is at its peak, and so we're seeing more beef coming out of both Brazil and Australia onto the world market. So there's some challenge there at a time when we've still got high production costs in Europe, but demand overall for beef is still good. Amazing coming off the cost of living crisis that we're still going through, really. The consumers keep coming back to the product. So it's not all bad news. We've got to look to that long term and build for it.
And given that the UK and EU are our biggest markets, is there opportunities going forward to expand other markets, do you think, in the future?
Yeah, look, I mean, certainly production out of Europe is challenged, and Ireland has a unique position in its natural capital to continue to build on. And a lot of the conversation tonight has been around what is happening in sustainability. How can Ireland take advantage of this position that it's in? And if you take the UK market, for instance, your biggest single export market, real issues there around how do they manage sustainability, really just the density of the human population, the need for food, affordable food. We see more imports coming into that market and very high UK beef prices. So challenges in those markets, but also when you look at those products exported onto the world market, they're at higher prices than Irish beef. So Ireland has the opportunity to develop a really strong reputation. It already has a great reputation, but it's got to get into more of those third markets and continue to show off what you do so well.
And given input costs that you mentioned there, where do you see the future of input costs and particularly beef price going forward?
Yeah, look, that's the billion-dollar question, isn't it? Very clear that the fertiliser costs are still high, but they've come back down from the peak that we saw immediately after the Ukraine war. The oil price is back down again from a very high peak. It's still above those long-run averages that we were used to in the sort of 2017, 18, 19. Feed costs, very much the same story. They are back down from the peak, but they are still above the levels we've been used to operating with. But that's not just an Irish problem, that is global. So where you've got grassland and you're able to make best use of it, then there's some opportunity to offset some of those input costs. So I think Ireland needs to play to its strengths going forward to control those costs.
That's great. Thanks very much, Rupert. And full details of Rupert's presentation, along with all the other proceedings, are available on the Teagasc website at teagasc.ie.